Phil did all the practicing with the pronunciation, but I didn't. Is it Skapa? Is it how you say it?
I think we will get to that, but it's Skapa, which means create in Swedish. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry for spoiling this. Since you're already on stage, I'll please everybody give up to IKEA. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And one more time, can you hear me okay? Yes, okay, good. You never know. Hey everyone. We're so happy to join you here tonight, even though it's through a screen this time. We hope to be able to be there live the next time. So we're here to present to you the digital design system at IKEA. Yes, it's called Skapa, and Skapa means to create in Swedish. So you probably know IKEA already. It's the blue boxes selling furniture and meatballs, but you might not know so much about our design system. And that's why we are here. So I'm Caroline, product owner in the Skapa team, and I'm here with my dear colleague Jonatan, senior design system designer.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I had to practice a lot. Yes,
right.
We can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is what we cover tonight. We start by introducing Scopa and our team, and after that, Jonatan will take you on a deep dive into the fascinating world of cards and how to build smart, scalable card components in a complex organization with many different user needs. We'll also do a short live demo and share some key takeaways from our journey so far. And if there is time for any questions at the end, we are happy to answer them. And of course, you can always connect with us on LinkedIn, for example, if you want to discuss more later on. So here's the team. I'm not sure if you can see us. This photo was actually taken yesterday. We were founded, the team Scopa was founded in 2019. And while it wasn't the first design system at IKEA, it's the first one that really took off. And today, I would say it's well known and widely adopted across the company. And today, we're a team of 23 people, and we are located in Malmö, Amsterdam, and Berlin. And since our team is quite big, we organize ourselves in smaller teams within the design system team to manage our daily work. But we always make sure to work closely together, product, design, and engineering, to maintain and evolve the design system. Yes. So, yeah, Scopa is the official digital design system at IKEA, and it's part of the mandatory trade dress, which means that it must be used in digital touchpoints wherever applicable. So as one of the most trusted brands in the world, we carry a big responsibility in safeguarding the IKEA brand identity in digital contexts. And today we're lucky to have Skapa well anchored in the organization. It's not like a project floating around somewhere. We are part of a domain called Experience Platform Capabilities, where all the platform teams that support product teams in creating digital experiences are gathered. And our design system consists of guidelines, design, and code to make sure we have a cohesive design in all our digital touchpoints. And yes, Scopa supports all digital products at IKEA. So from coworker apps and tools used in the IKEA stores to the retail app and website that you might use when you shop at IKEA, as well as the in-store kiosks and large format screens. So this means that we design for everything from the small mobile devices to 75-inch displays. And our reach also includes stuff like email marketing, data visualization tools, and much more. So wherever there's a digital touch point, we are there to try to help ensure a consistent high-quality experience. And yes, in our offer, we have more than 60 components available both in design and code. We also offer 115 design tokens, including support for dark mode, and we support 5 technologies: React, Web Components, Vue, Android, and iOS. And apart from that, we manage the IKEA icon library with over 1,000 icons. So all icons at IKEA are created by us in Scopa to ensure consistency and quality. And of course, as design tool, yes, we use Figma, and all our documentation lives in a knowledge hub that we call Scopa Hub, which Jonatan will give you a quick tour of later. And we give quite a lot of love to our knowledge hub because documentation is super important. So we make sure that our users have what they need when building digital experiences. And the scale of IKEA, yes, it's definitely a big and complex organization. And that's both exciting and challenging. And we have quite a big and active community. And we do value our users a lot. And we currently have around 400 Figma editors, and we support more than 200 product teams. And yeah, we have Slack as we have our community mainly in Slack. So we have approximately 1,700 people there that we support on a daily basis.
And we also want to have an AI bot someday.
Yes.
You can tell us how to do it, Spotify. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would love one of those. Because support is, yes, it's a big part of our daily work. And it takes a lot of time. But of course, as I said, we value our users. So we make sure to take care of them. But on a yearly basis, I would say we handle around 50 one-to-one meetings with our users, and we onboard approximately or more than 300. We have more than 300 onboarding sessions. And I can mention here that for a new designer to get access to Figma, you need to take the Scopa designer onboarding, and we also have a developer onboarding. So we're kind of strict when it comes to that. And yes, we get a lot of feature and change requests. So I would say, 400 to 500 requests every year. So many different users and many different needs. And this is a challenge that you will hear more about now when Jonatan presents the work we did recently when introducing new card components into Scopa. So with that said, I will hand over to you, Jonatan.
Thank you. Yeah, it's some amazing numbers. Sometimes when you start to think about it, you get all sweaty sometimes when you want to release new things. So today I'm going to walk you through our journey in redesigning one of our most common UI elements at IKEA, the card component. I would say this story is more than just pixels. It's about collaboration, accessibility, and building for scale while staying true to our IKEA brand. So this is how we started our journey in the beginning, actually, of almost a year ago. So last year we set out to create a new card component that balances accessibility, style, and flexibility. And it turned out to not just be one card, but actually several similar in structure, yet distinct in purpose. And we had one clear goal, one system, multiple variants, and a consistent brand experience, which is really important for us as a brand. And I mean, at the first glance, a card component seems pretty straightforward. A layout with a title, a label, a body, an action, and maybe an image. Sounds quite easy, right? But I would say not quite, not at IKEA. Thinking about all the numbers that Caroline mentioned before. So this is the reality we faced last year when we were starting this work. So basically, we have cards everywhere in our digital products. They're a great way to group related content and works as single entry points for more detailed information. And at IKEA, we use them across our retail website, kiosks, mobile apps, and even in internal tools. But as you can see, we had a lot of them in all kinds of shapes and styles. So we basically gathered all different variants we could find across IKEA digital products as a first step to actually understand what a new card component has to support, trying to bring a bit of clarity to this mess. I can mention that this is just a small slice of all the cards we found in our search. All right. So after running an initial workshop in the DesignSystems team, so this is a screenshot from one of the boards in Miro. We tried to look up what actually we have to support in the new component. So we quickly realized that our current card component was not flexible enough to handle all the use cases we found. And so we needed a better version that could adapt to different contexts, meet accessibility standards, and of course, still be on brand. So the challenge, after we were doing initial research across IKEA digital products, we realized that the term card meant different things to different product teams. And as Caroline said before, we have 200 product teams, so there's a lot of multiplied design here. So the Miro board here on the right is just the first stab at trying to organize something that at some point can become a card component. But the thing is, sometimes it was just a static container for text and images. Other times it was interactive, clickable, or even animated. And unfortunately, also not even accessible. So that was like the reality we were facing when we started. So a little bit about how we work, or how we love to work with our product teams at IKEA. We started by running a couple of workshops with some product teams to define what a card is and what a card is not. Of course, we also look outside IKEA at real-world examples. We mapped out use cases and identified the most common patterns. So basically, here on the right, you see some of the feedback we got initially from our product teams. And our goal was actually ambitious but clear: create a component that could cover at least 80% of our use cases without any custom builds or modifications. And aiming for 80% is really high at the big organizations like IKEA. We also set up early feedback loops so teams can test early versions and suggest improvements, as you can see here on the right. And we always release alpha versions in both Code and Figma early so teams can start experimenting and giving feedback. And this is the first result, or this is actually the released component. So the new card component, actually, the result was a highly configurable card. Man, that's hard to say in English. Teams can choose whether to include a media container, apply one of several brand-approved themes, including an extended color palette. The layout is flexible enough to handle everything from simple information, product listings, to editorial content. So basically, the only thing you have to provide in the most minimal version of our card is actually a title and an action. So basically, you can use it for a lot of use cases. So here's just a little example of all the properties that you can utilize in this component as a designer and developer. So first off, we have the top here where you can have a badge, if you want to badge a card. You can also have an icon, or you can also have commercial message, which is a IKEA thing. I think you're probably familiar with IKEA family or new products and such things. So basically, here in the content card, you have a lot of options to tailor it for what you want to do. And here on the left, we also have the media container. And I would say that was one of the biggest upgrades we did to our previous card. Sorry, I also forgot. in the middle of everything of development, we also had to add 21 new color themes that we got from the brand team. So this is, so when our content creators in the market using our CMS, they want to tailor maybe the color to the image, or they have campaigns and such things. So this is really flexible for our content creators all across the world. But to get back on the media container. So from being just a static image slot, it's now a dynamic interactive space. It can display images, can display videos, commercial messages, or even shoppable markers that link directly to product pages. I guess you all are all familiar with this, the shoppable dot that we use on the IKEA website, which is a very core component in our design system. So I would say this turned the card into a more engaging and versatile component than it was before. But as we all know, working in design systems, it's never enough. To meet our product team's needs, we actually had to create 2 additional card components, similar in structure, but yet distinct in its purpose. So after building the first card component, we introduced something called a compact card, which is more minimal and lightweight for basic entry points. Also for quick navigation or dense layouts, for example, on a mobile grid when you don't have that much space or you don't want to have body text. And the media container supports most of the features as in the other card, except shoppable image, because it doesn't work on smaller sizes. And we also saw a trending pattern. Designers love to put text on cards with different results and sometimes really bad accessibility. So our text overlay card places text and content directly on top of images and videos. And we also did a lot of investigation to have a flexible gradient overlay that actually ensures that the text will always have enough contrast. Basically, it means the gradient will grow with the text. So we always make sure to have enough dark behind the text. Yeah, it's good with this card. It saves a lot of vertical space and it works perfect in mobile contexts. A little bit on accessibility. Here on the right, you can see an example navigating the card with a keyboard or a screen reader and a keyboard. So accessibility is really at the core of design and development at IKEA. It's very high in focus, also from the start when we start implementing and designing things. And with cards, there is no official VCAG pattern or such things. So basically what we had to do was to find our own accessibility approach. So we redesigned the keyboard navigation so users quickly can move through content logically, even if you have a screen reader. So when a screen reader announces the card, it's announced as a link, and then we will read only the header. So this is what some research we did. Like, it's really annoying if you have to navigate through 10 cards and screen reader has to read the title and the body text, especially if you put a lot of text inside a card. So now, as a keyboard user and screen reader, you can actually navigate through our product cards in a carousel really fast. So yeah, we tested with our colleagues. Some of them have vision impairments, and we also work closely with our internal accessibility team to ensure the component is inclusive from day one. And now let's see a little bit of the cards in action. My plan was to do a live demo of Storybook, but then I realized that I will be too nervous to do it. So this is a screen recording, and we will start with something that Caroline mentioned before. So this is the Scopa hub, where we have all our design guidelines, components, foundations, design patterns, basically everything you need to design experiences at IKEA. Yeah, as Caroline said, we have 60+ components, so it's a lot of time that has been spent on all the documentation. So here comes the card documentation. We always have everything in Storybook and in platforms. But I would say like 20% of my job as a designer is probably in Figma. The rest is collaboration, write documentation, all such things. Yeah, that's it's Figma is just a super small part, but it's also one interesting thing for us as designers. While you write the documentation about your design, you actually discover things that you might not have thought of before. So I really recommend when you design something, try to think about how you can document it and explain it to other people, because then you will also realize that you always have missed something. So this is all the properties you can have. So here is the image and media container, which supports all kinds of formats. It also resizes depending on the viewport. Of course, here's the video player. As you can see, we have just added a new transcript button to the video player as well. And here we have the shoppable image, where you basically can put tags on room pictures to find out more about the products. And here we have the new themes. So basically, each card contains a theme file, which means the card supports both dark and light mode. So here you can see when we're toggling, we're changing the text color. So it's super flexible when it comes to terms of theming and other things. This is just a small feature. It's add-on. You can choose to have an icon. You can choose to have a commercial message, or choose to have a badge. And not further ado, but we also, of course, made everything responsive. So you can also choose where the leading or trailing image should be if you have a bigger card, which is really neat, especially when you have to support everything from small handheld devices for the people working picking your products until like you have this big kiosk in the warehouse or store. So a little bit about rollout and adoption. So here on the right, you see one example from the landing page of IKEA in UK, where they used the new cards. So basically, before the redesign, our previous card components had around 106,000 monthly downloads across React, Vue, and web components. Unfortunately, that card was only available for web, but the new cards are now also available for iOS and Android, making it truly cross-platform. And as you can see before, we always develop components for all platforms. That's part of our offering. We're not only doing web components. And I mean, with such a widespread usage, I mean, you can see here on our landing page, there are a lot of different cards. So with a widespread usage, particularly among heavy users like our global CMS system for content creators, internal tools, and product teams, we anticipated that, adoption of the new card components would take time. But actually now in August this year, we celebrated a bit because we reached an adoption rate for web for over 80% of the new card component. Yay. But at its scale, I mean, adoption is really a gradual process, and that's perfectly normal thinking about how big our company is. And here are some learnings that we learned along the way. So I would say a design system is really a living organism. It needs to evolve with its users and the businesses. And collaboration across teams is essential to drive adoption across a big organization. And something we always make sure accessibility and brand consistency, they're never optional. They are foundational in all the stuff we're doing. And with all these props, you have these new card components. The flexibility is what allows a component to scale across platform and context. Everything from a video of a carpet on the floor until a big 80-inch TV to a mobile app. And I would say this is the beauty of a well-maintained design system, that it grows with you. I also have one last thing. So a small note, I didn't demo anything from Figma today because it looks like this at the moment. Hear me out. So in the middle of the design and development process, we had to add all these new color themes. So it summed up, we have like 1,024 variants at the moment, which makes it a really slow and painful and lots of maintenance. So our next step will be to get this down to 62 when we have the new variables up and running. So yeah, it's a bit painful right now, but we're working on it. All right. So yeah, a big shout out to the Scopa design system team, and especially to these people for building all these amazing things together. As Caroline mentioned before, we're a really tight team. We're working always together with everything, which is a really nice thing. And I think that was my last slide, and I'm sorry if I spoke too fast. All right, do you have any questions? Oh, I can't hear. No, I can hear.
Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you so much. And you did not speak too fast, I don't think. Yeah, pretty ambitious to get the 80% coverage with a single card. Yeah, and well done on all the adoption you've already had. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Any questions for the oh, okay. I think I saw you first over here.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm sorry, this is my first time asking a question. I'm more interested in the documentation, like what platform or tools do you use to host the documentation, like Storybook, I don't know, I'm interested to know, one thing is to create the component on Figma and all the variants, and another one is where do you host, create the documentation. That's one question, and the other one is it's more I know that you mentioned about the collaboration, of course, writing the content and explain the component in the documentation, and how the relationship with the developing, updating, and the documentation, and also the implementation in production, and how that works. Sorry, 2 questions.
You wanna go first, Caroline, or should I go first?
You can go, Jonatan.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a headless CMS. We're running something called Strappy. So we basically have our own web server and for internal documentation. So it's basically, I mean, for an example, like material design, but it's the Skapa design. So it's a CMS. So basically, we do all the design in Figma. We also have a storybook. Then we also have documentation for Android and iOS separately, but we have a storybook for each web technology, so we actually can test out the live components. When it comes to collaboration, so basically we restructured a bit a couple of years ago. We found out that you feel more ownership if you're working together, really close together, like the developers and the designers, from day one. When you're taking a new feature on, then the whole team will be engaged from start. Basically, we are full stack teams. Basically, one sub team in our team can do a whole feature from start to the end. And that also builds you trust each other more, and everyone becomes more responsible and also more involved, and you really feel that you own the product you're working with. Previously, we had been scattered, working on mixed things and not really in those small teams. I don't know if you want to add something to that, Caroline.
I think you said it well. And at IKEA, in the digital organization, we have this PEDX set up. So we work closely, product engineering, data, and design. So it's the way we work at IKEA. So yes, working closely together, we should be involved from the start, including data in our decisions. And cross-functional is really important in both discovery and delivery of the products and things we do.
Thank you. We have
Did
time
that
for
answer your question? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a thumbs up. We have time for a very quick question. So is a quick question. Okay.
Hello. I was wondering if you can elaborate a little bit more on the responsiveness, especially if you have marketing people working on a CMS. Was it something that you defined that you can only use like 3 cards that will look exactly like this, or how flexible was that they could decide if they will look horizontal and carousel, or because when you show on the start page you can see like all the flexibility of the cards, but was it something that you decide on the rules, or is it flexible enough for the people to decide how they want kind of like the cards to look?
So basically, we have content systems running at IKEA. Basically, it's a CMS system where each country market will create their own campaigns and stuff. So we have been working really closely together with our CMS team, which is also a big team. Caroline's old team, you know a lot about this. But when it comes to the flexibility of resizing, no, you can't really decide how the card should behave because that's inside the component. Basically, if you would do a resize to really big display, you will automatically get the layouts that you have image and you have the content, or you can swap them around. There are some settings where you can lock it down so it doesn't, relay out when the display gets bigger. But most of the time, for example, in a carousel on the web page, it's locked to a certain style and design when you add content as a content creator. Of course, you have like, I don't know how many colors there is, but you have a lot of colors and things. And also the image content that we come from another source at IKEA, we have a huge, I don't know how much I can say. But there's like a media factory. Basically, you get the images. So when the images comes from the system, they don't only come in one aspect ratio. So they could be 1:1, they could be 16:9, 9:16. So depending, for example, on the carousel or the viewport, you could adapt to another image format. It's a bit complicated. Did that answer your question? I'm sorry. It's the short version.
Well, I saw a lot more people raising their hands, but we don't have time, unfortunately. But you can reach out to Jonatan and Caroline on LinkedIn, yeah, and ask your questions. Putting you on the spot here. Thank you so much. Please, everybody, get up to. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really hope we can join in person next time. It looks like you had a good time.
Yeah, I know. We're going to have a slice of pizza for you.
Yeah.
Yes, do that.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Again.
Bye.
Have a lovely evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.